It'll be Mal's, Syndra, Mal's, Zyra, and then either Syndra or Shen if we're repeating the last games. Fnatic will do the standard red side, Camille, LeBlanc, Rengar bans. Nothing out of the ordinary now. Will ROCCAT look at the Shen again? I like that ban. Yep, there we go. Varus first pick coming out from ROCCAT. If it's not banned by Fnatic, it'll be the same again.
It was huge for Hjarnan last time around, and Fnatic actually gave over the Kha'Zix. They picked up the Ivern for themselves on first rotation. We'll see if it happens again. The Varus is now locked as expected.
So, Fnatic, I don't think will pick Corki this rotation. Ivern they can take. I think it's worked very well for them. They can also now look maybe at the Ryze if they want to take it away.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Give it to Caps.
Means ROCCAT now look for that Karma to go alongside Varus. They aren't rushing for their jungler right now, at least in previous drafts.
Well, it's going to be the Kha'Zix though this time. I mean, I guess if you want to hide other things or avoid it being banned away, they take the Corki for Betsy. Interesting.
I think they're fairly concerned it will go over. Now AD carry has quickly been locked in by Fnatic, otherwise it would have been pinched by the Ashe. So we're into support bans for both teams potentially here. It's also top lane that we're looking for. Shen has already been banned, so we're looking at Maokai bans, Poppy bans. The likes, you know, that we've seen a couple of times here. Jace
has been available,
is still available and could be banned.
Oh, they banned the Thresh against Wadid. Okay, so
will it be a Soraka ban?
That is a big question because Jesiz had one great ad. It answered yes.
So now Maokai.
Not going to talk about it anymore.
Maokai maybe, with Jace being fairly high priority. sOAZ has played Nautilus as well. Quite a few tanks under his belt. Maybe if Phaxi is scared of the Alawi from sOAZ, we might see that ban, but I'm not actually expecting that.
The Alawi, a few picks the other week, didn't do quite so well. Now, the Jace is taken away. So last ban over to ROCCAT. Do they choose another support? It is the Lulu. So that's done, and now it's back over to Fnatic's side, and they're going to snatch themselves the Karma. Yeah,
taking the next highest priority support. So Tahm Kench now for Wadid if he's looking that way. Bard is another option. He has currently played quite a few champions. Played a game on Bard, a game on Misfortune, but that wouldn't fit in here.
Maokai is the one they end up blocking. Makes a lot of sense. Phaxi having quite a bit of success on that, and they've actually gone all the way down. If they lock this into the Nami, still considering it, they have time on the board. They want to pair that, give the sustain to Varus. And they do.
They do. They want to give the sustain a little bit of a touch extra poke, but against the Karma, really hard to outpoke her as a support. Nautilus, if they want the same matchup as before. If they want more damage, you could very well see the Rumble come out, but I think Fnatic will stick with what kind of almost worked for them in the last game. sOAZ's Nautilus was pretty on point. The hooks were good against Wadid, catching him out, punishing some of the mispositioning that ROCCAT had in the mid-game.
Oh, but they mixed it up. And it's the Gnar.
Okay, we're going side lane presence instead of just a Nautilus as a big tank. We're going for somebody that can facilitate both roles. Gnar had a good few nerfs on him over a long stretch of time after he was very highly tuned. So it took a lot of the potency away. Will obviously have good laning phase, good trading against the Maokai, and have good side lane control later on into the game. It's been a while since we've seen Gnar here in Europe. Fnatic looking to control the side lanes, bring themselves back in. Just wondering what sOAZ is going to be able to get done on this Gnar.
Absolutely. So it's a bold decision by Fnatic to put some more pressure into those side lanes. I mean, they have some scaling potential. They have the Ivern combo that they've been pretty much opting for consistently and giving up the Kha'Zix for it. They have a solid bottom lane this time around. The Jhin and Karma has a lot of push, and they've got the Ryze that they stole away. So ROCCAT, we'll see if they're able to take it to them here. They have some power for themselves, but between the Corki and the Varus, a lot of it's in that poke. Let's see what's going to happen here. If you guys think ROCCAT can take their first victory of the split in a series, you guys know what to do. Go over to Twitter, tweet that, ROC win at eSports. And Fnatic, they got fired back on, but they didn't make it easy for ROCCAT, and they might be able to take them down here, and that would look good for them heading into cross-group play. We'll find out what happens as we hit Summoner's Rift for the final time in Week 3 here in Europe.
Game on. Not a lot of people would have thought, perhaps, coming into the split, that it would be Fnatic and ROCCAT tied in our last part of the group stage, or the first round robin, at least. But that is where we find ourselves. ROCCAT had a decent early game in the last game. Stumbled in the mid game, but kind of crushed the Fnatic base at the end of the game. So here we are, 1-1, ROCCAT versus Fnatic.
All right, let's keep an eye on this top lane this time around, because this is the curveball that Fnatic pulled out. The Gnar that we haven't seen in Europe in spring yet.
Yeah, haven't seen it too much, but will still maintain some of the strengths that Gnar had before. Lane bully, ranged auto attacker while in mini Gnar. Has to play around Mega Gnar fairly comprehensively though. Once that expires, obviously it has a lot less potency in team fights. Fnatic, fairly common strat, just pushing down through bot lane, making sure you can secure as much control over that duo lane at the beginning. And we've seen this a good few times as well. Early warding onto Ivern's red allows you to track his jungle pathing fairly quickly. Of course, he has to start off by tagging a load of camps and going back through, and has a lot of different variants on which starts he can actually have.
All right. It is looking, though, to be a fairly standard start, even though the Ivern is spotted, of course. Both junglers starting up on the top side of their maps. Very advanced position taken by Rekkles and Jesiz, and that is very true, Ivern. You got to be careful. You don't want to drop these games going into cross-group play.
So Fnatic know, obviously, that it was spotted. There were pings out on the ward. So Amazing is going to start tagging camps red side, which means he's going to end up back at red side on that top side at around about that 3-minute mark. That's when it has evolved to the point where he can just click it, tag it, take it away. Gonna hop over to blue buff, take that one, go back through Wolves after Gromp, and work his way back up through the jungle.
It's very formulaic jungle pathing for Iverns.
Yep.
And Maxlore, sensing that he might have a chance to go counter jungling right now. Let's see if Amazing moves there up in time. And
now is to do with the minute pathing details. They just spotted Maxlore going in. So as long as Amazing can get there, he doesn't actually have a smite available, so can't quite get it instantly, but obviously it should have got to a point where he can just tag it.
Okay, he's going to have to take the Blastcone Express, I think. Here we go.
Yep.
Hops over, has to give the red buff away, and then gets smited down by Amazing, or rather taken by Amazing.
That's all Amazing needed, was just that moment of open play around it. If Maxlore is contesting, it's a little bit more difficult, but that's why Maxlore had to jump out. Knew that Amazing was close enough. Couldn't do anything else. Now Amazing looking from that brush.
Instant Valk away.
Yeah, trying to get his presence known, because he knows Maxlore's only level 2. Yeah. Maxlore hasn't been to his red buff yet, so is just trying to get further and further ahead on this one, now heading towards the top lane. Mega Gnar is about to expire.
Amazing knows there's nothing in this jungle right now. Sent the Scryer's Bloom through.
So he knows Maxlore is heading bot side is the key factor here. He can move around wherever he wants to on the lane. Amazing now heading up top. Actually looking like he might be about to sneak into lane if he wants to, but the fact that Maokai's pushed so far up means there's no lane gank available.
There's a lot of damage traded mid. Betsy a little low on mana, so is Caps, but he has enough left in the tank to do some more. sOAZ pushing Phaxi here under tower. This is what a Gnar can do.
Yeah, and Gnar was pulled out of lane a little just to defend for Amazing against Maxlore. You can see Amazing now tracking back down through his jungle after smiting those Krugs, getting it instantly. But top lane, maybe a little bit more active than the top lanes we've seen recently.
Caps had a lot of trouble last game, but this time he gets the Ryze. Betsy is put onto the Corki, so we'll see how this matchup actually shifts a little bit. As Betsy had backed away, he picks up a control ward on that back. Amazing's going to take the Blast Cone over the wall. Hjarnan taking a lot of poke damage from Rekkles and Jesiz. They're having a much easier time of it, and he's going to come around the riverside. Oh boy, Hjarnan and Wadid don't know this is happening right now, and suddenly, out of the bridge that he made, they find Hjarnan, and they stop him under his tower, but they can't finish the job. Amazing took a lot of return fire for that. The piercing arrow nearly had him too. Yeah, Amazing with an unorthodox entry into the lane, flashing to explode that trigger seed. Normally, you just open with the Q and see if you can get there, but maybe Amazing still needs a bit more practice on the Ivern. He's had a few games of it, but you need more.
That's an ambitious one. We saw a flash trigger seed for a kill yesterday, but to start a gank off, I'm not exactly convinced that that's how level 4 Ivern should do it.
Yeah, I mean, you did get some summoners.
Yeah, he did. Just looked funny.
It did look well. I mean, everything Ivern does looks funny. Let's be real.
That is very true.
But back to the mid lane, it has been a very even affair. It should be a little quieter when you have a safer pick like the Corki. Amazing continuing to get some vision out.
And I want to see how Caps can survive through against this Corki. We saw the reverse matchup in the previous game, and you saw the stat earlier, 4 isolated deaths in the game. Actually tied the most with Vizicachi and Hachani.
Oh.
The two ends of the scale.
I would not put those guys in the same category, but apparently for that particular one it is.
That is the truth. So the three of them all traded. Caps maybe looking isolated again here.
Yeah, Maxlore's there. This time, though, Caps has his flash and exhaust both available. Betsy's going to Valk for it. Meanwhile, down bottom, we got action again. As Hjarnan taking a little bit low, and Amazing's come to return to the scene of the crime. But Rekkles might be going down. Wadid is on him. Oh, the trigger seed saves his life. No first blood.
Candy shield just in time.
But Maxlore.
Oh, Maxlore's hunting.
Oh, boy. Oh, he flashes, and there he goes. Finishing off the kill.
Maxlore knew he couldn't quite close the distance without the flash, but very worthwhile. Rekkles had no summoners, no possibility of getting out of that. And sOAZ had just TP'd back to lane. Now he wants to trade against Phaxi.
In the Mega Gnar, he can definitely do it for now. Level 6 on both top laners, but sOAZ used his in Mega form, of course. Phaxi didn't want to trade too far back, and he's able to tank up most. Content to be pushed under tower as he's matching the farm for the most part. Yeah. Got tense for a moment there.
Yeah, it did. So sOAZ had his TP available here, but was actually backing from the lane just to try and get the advantage. This is where the exchange happened, so there was no real way of sOAZ getting deep into this fight unless he went to a minion. At this point, Rekkles looked like he was able to trade into Hjarnan well enough. Whew. Just in time before that last little auto hit. Maxlore.
I got this, guys.
How many hops, skips, and jumps? Even Rift Scuttler's a little bit afraid there. Scurrying along. Rekkles falls to Maxlore. It's a good start. Maxlore's last 2 games have actually been pretty good.
Yeah. He's had this Kha'Zix, has been able to do some work on it. And for Rekkles, unfortunately, just couldn't quite get away. It looked like Fnatic might have had some miscommunication. Amazing kind of hesitating, and then he eventually commits, but only in time to give Rekkles the shield.
Yeah, just in time. Back up to top lane, though, looking at sOAZ has gone that Phage route. I wonder whether we'll see the old Black Cleaver Frozen Mallet build that we saw Gnar's build. Had a lot of potency over in the side lane, just kind of whittling people down, just keep auto-attacking them, applying the slow. Very difficult to get away from Gnar. It is a onesie party up there, though. Dino Gnar going up against Maokai, so a lot of fun, comfy fighting up in the top lane, apparently.
That is another way to call the wet noodle fight for sure, but it has a bit more teeth when you've got Gnar on the Fnatic side of the map. But just
one's like a possessed tree, the other's
I mean, that's not usually what I would call cuddly, but I guess, you know, I guess Gnar can be. There's the curtain call being opened up onto Hjarnan. He stopped with the tether, and in comes Amazing and Daisy. Daisy's bubbled up, and Maxlore's coming in. Hjarnan going incredibly low, and the curtain call is just not done yet. Amazing is going to be able to finish the job. Wadid and Maxlore are in some trouble right now, and they've stopped Maxlore, caught him up. A double kill for the Ivern.
Ivern comes into bottom lane. It didn't even matter that the bubble hit the cupcake. It was just enough to close the gap. Amazing's not done here yet. Wadid is still backing away, though. We've seen supports fall prey to that in the bottom lane. Again, Phaxi gets traded on. Good dodge out, though, by the Twisted Advance.
Yeah, nice timing on that one. sOAZ is going to go mini once again, and Phaxi's going to have to be pushing things back under tower right now. No teleport still available for him. He wouldn't have been able to react to that, especially with sOAZ breathing down his neck. But let's take a look at the fight once again. It all started when Rekkles opened the curtains.
Yeah, opens them up, hits Hjarnan a couple of times, but it looks to block at the same time. Bit of a wet mixture in this cupcake mix, but still enough to be lethal as Amazing comes in with Daisy. Jesiz and Rekkles there to help him clean up, and Ivern, what do you know, takes 2 kills, finishes off Redemption.
Yeah, I don't know if it's totally fair that Amazing got one of those kills. Daisy did the work.
Yeah, you know.
Just happens sometimes, but that's a fairly fast Redemption right there. Maxlore is going to look to equalize.
Hey, that's the difficulty you have with the AI on Daisy. Sometimes it gets all the kills, sometimes it's just flailing around. Who knows?
You never know. All right, so Dragon, despite it being Mountain, obviously, with a little bit of action in the bottom lane, haven't really seen it finished off just yet. And you can see Maxlore actually had to pop out of the pit because Amazing and Jesiz were hanging around. Wadid and Hjarnan. Pushed out again. On the bottom side,
coming bot
Amazing's
side
returning.
again.
Man, he is camping this lane.
The third or fourth time.
There's no vision in this push.
Hjarnan and Wadid stop pushing up. Here comes Daisy again.
Yeah, exhaust on. I think I've seen this one before. I'm having deja vu right now. The wave comes in, but it might be time for Hjarnan to wave goodbye. One shot of the curtain. Two, it's going to be blocked by Phaxi as he teleported in. sOAZ is followed. He's actually going to back right here. Maxlore is joining the party, and Jesiz is going to run right into his face. Maxlore picks up one. ROCCAT managed to salvage something out of this after all.
ROCCAT somehow keep Hjarnan alive with conga line, almost as if they're trying to avoid a T-Rex. Everybody just stood still, and there was no real way of getting through that one. Fnatic brought sOAZ down to the bottom side as well. It's only really the one kill as Jesiz has face-checked into Maxlore, but you can see Fnatic have been trying to just push back, trying to punish ROCCAT for every time they push up in the lane.
Yeah, and for all those efforts, they may have gotten some kills, blown some summoners, but they haven't been able to get that much damage on the bottom turret. And no one's been able to secure this Mountain Drake.
And neither have ROCCAT with the damage on the tower either. Normally with Varus, with you know, any kind of lane that can shove out, typically that's the lane that's getting the tower damage. But Jhin and Karma push fairly quickly as well. The amount of poke, the punishing from Amazing as well. Oh, sOAZ jumps in.
Okay, Hjarnan's a little bit low right now. Jesiz, sOAZ, Rekkles all there to try and push this, but they're going to have to back away. Maxlore threatening.
Betsy has the package.
Everyone wants to be in the bot lane.
Yeah, Betsy was roaming around towards the bot side with the package.
Caps is coming in.
A tense moment here.
I don't think Phaxi got the memo.
The old switcheroo. Betsy returns to the mid lane with the package. Yeah, and this is Caps coming down now. No ultimate. We'll see. Don't really know whether ROCCAT have tracked that one, but still close enough to the bot lane to push the tower.
Yep. Brought enough members, called the bluff, and Fnatic are able to take the first tower of the game up in the top. Phaxi is quickly trying to push back, but he is just one Maokai.
Yeah, he's done a good job, actually, of the tower push game.
Considering he's up against Gnar, I mean, sOAZ has spent some time out of lane, but this is going to be good for them if they can finish this off. Another wave is coming. He should get it.
Yeah, should just about get it. Will with one more auto attack pick the tower. Maxlore saw this earlier. Mountain Drake is a little tougher to take down.
There's a lot of danger pings right now.
The thing is, Mountain Drake doesn't deal as much damage as some of the other Drakes.
It's harder to kill.
He's harder to kill, so Maxlore's actually a lot healthier.
Yeah. No one's going that intercept. Amazing is up in the top side right now. So for ROCCAT, that actually looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this again with Amazing coming down at the start of this party. Another
attempt to punish here as Jesiz flashes onto Hjarnan to try and get the chains down, but Hjarnan just had a few too many heals coming through from Wadid.
He almost died so many times, though.
Good block by Wadid. Everybody stand still. Quick. Got him. And Maxlore face checks, or Jesiz face checks into Maxlore as he was trying to ward. Ironically, trying to ward to make sure Maxlore wasn't coming down, or Betsy.
That is what I tell my AD carries when I do that and die. But back into this game. Betsy pushing Amazing back with the ROCCAT. The fight has shifted a little bit more into the ROCCAT jungle here. 13 minutes into this game. The gold is very close. Fnatic got the first tower blood, but with the kills, it's fairly equal. However, Caps and Amazing are looking to change that in mid lane.
It's a good little push, utilizing that Ivern brush just to give Ivern the added damage, the added range on his auto, so you can not have to be right next to it.
16 solo dragons for Kha'Zix. Fun fact.
That's, you know, it's a fun fact. Kha'Zix is able to, and there's a lot of junglers actually right now that can still do it. But
he is the Dragon Slayer.
Fair.
Got nothing, it's okay.
Is Rengar like a dragon then in mythology?
I don't know, we're going too far with this one. Speaking of too far, sOAZ might have pushed a little too deep there. He's still gonna toss a brick house at Phaxi, and now Daisy and Amazing are coming back up. Phaxi's a little low, he's got himself a flash. Maxlore is on his tail, and he's gonna hop right in. Blast cones!
Gets himself out, Amazing with a little position change. Goes from looking to blast his way into the lane to blasting his way back out. Redemption used just so they can try and push this tower, but obviously Redemption's not the longest of cooldowns.
It's not much of a wave either.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Maokai is fairly effective at pushing back that wave like that, but again, Amazing will have that back up by the time it's really important again.
All right. About 15 minutes. You know it's that time. Time to check in with the items. Betsy just got himself a finished Trinity Force. Caps is still trying to build up himself to the Rod of Ages, has that tier stacking up and available. Hjarnan has not been able to finish an item just yet either. And sOAZ up top side does have that Black Cleaver, and he's using it to try and push in, but Phaxi's still pushing him back right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going alongside that Black Cleaver. We spoke about Frozen Mallet earlier. Want to know if there's any lethality coming through? Anything else on top of this?
It is trendy lately.
It is. It's the fashion for anybody that auto-attacks.
Fortunately, sOAZ is part of that.
I still think Frozen Mallet's probably going to find its way in.
There
were a couple of nerfs to itemization on it, and to Gnar in general.
Oh, why it's a bit of a surprise seeing Gnar, but I mean, Fnatic, they have been the ones throwing the curveball in the draft. We saw in game #1 that Camille that ended up going mid. They were allowed to take, but still worked out well for them. Hjarnan's caught, and the damage is on, but he flashes as the exhaust was there. Wadid's going to have to tank up. No more curtain call available for Rekkles. Just can't find the kill, and there's not much of a wave left, but they might just try to do it anyways, and Maxlore finds himself caught as well. He's going to have to go out.
They're tanking with Daisy for a moment, but doesn't end up playing ball on that one. sOAZ trading again with Phaxi top lane.
But he's in tower range, and even though there's a big Gnar ultimate there, Phaxi still gets the better of him, and he's actually chasing on.
He's
Twisted in advance. He's got flash. He might have to use it. He does. Phaxi, he's trying to bait this one out. The 1v1. sOAZ with the boomerang.
Boomerang catches it. sOAZ flashed away from what looked like almost certain death, as did Phaxi. Managed to widen the gap, but you can see that
was close.
sOAZ, while holding 1,500 gold, wasn't quite able to do anything. Oh, no.
Goodbye!
Maxlore is feasting on the scraps of Fnatic when Fnatic somewhat succeed and then stick around a moment or two too long.
sOAZ, you just got to back away, man. Oh, boy. And, considering that 1v1 and how crazy and close it was, it's just funny to highlight how much experience gap there is between these two players, right? Like, sOAZ is like a name that you go back to the earliest days of the LCS, the old Fnatic and everything, and he sometimes still makes these mistakes.
Well, I mean, yeah. He, first of all, gets the 1v1, which I think we should give him a little praise for.
Yeah, it was a sick flash.
He was under tower, got a little bit of damage down, sOAZ takes a trade, knows he's got mini Gnar coming up soon. So he's able to utilize the hyper passive fairly effectively. Watch for the flash. Oh, got him.
And then Phaxi.
Yeah, knows he just has to outpace the little sapling, the little kitten.
And all looked well until
Maxlore was so far back in the lane. Okay, yeah, that is kind of fair. sOAZ could have recalled out after this, but got greedy to get the tower down.
Ta-da!
Yeah, okay. Great, good like 1v1. And then sOAZ is like,
Yep, that happened. But the good news is Fnatic did manage to knock down the turret. They've got 3-1 right now. So the gold lead is in their favor, but it has been a very close game. ROCCAT have been keeping pace with them well. Maxlore's all three kills. So they can definitely look to try and snowball on this Kha'Zix.
Yeah, they can. Maybe won't get quite such an early kill, an easy kill on sOAZ again. sOAZ will have healed up a little bit after that, and maybe wouldn't have lost so much health. Gotten the MR route after, so it won't help him against Kha'Zix, but at least against Phaxi, he can maybe end that fight healthier.
Yeah. I mean, you got to really also give credit to Phaxi, even though that was a super close 1v1, just overall this series, he really has done his job as he's needed to, and this is a guy who came into the LCS as a very untested talent. I mean, this is his 10th competitive game ever.
And he's looked fairly good. I mean, we've seen more worrying entries. Not to pick on him, but Parang didn't have the best start for ROCCAT last split. And I feel like Phaxi's done better than Parang did when Parang settled. So maybe there's building blocks to go from there.
Yeah, I think so.
ROCCAT.
I mean, there's definitely a way up. I mean, this series, if nothing, is an encouraging thing for them, which is hard to find when you are a team that has not been able to find a win in series. Fnatic are not going to make this easy, though, but if ROCCAT can pick up a win, they can breathe a big sigh of relief heading into cross-group play.
Yeah, they could breathe a sigh of relief, but at the same time, it's going to be one of those ones where it's also disappointment goes with it. Dropping the game to ROCCAT. This was the series where Fnatic would have loved to have said, okay, we are better than Giants. It was a one-game kind of fluke. Now they've kind of done the same performance so far against ROCCAT, where they've looked shaky in a game, just like Giants did. Honestly, Fnatic, they are yet to really attain those kind of highs where you can say they're definitively out of this mix at the bottom of their group.
Absolutely. there's definitely a lot of question marks for this Fnatic squad. There's always a lot of scrutiny on any players that, you know, wear the Fnatic jersey. It's a long-standing organization with a big history of success. There's always a chip on the shoulders.
And one of the biggest stories of the split was sOAZ returning to Fnatic. As you mentioned, long-standing member not only in the EU LCS, but up until his time on Origin on Fnatic. So there's a lot of expectation on the veteran top laner. And after a shaky first couple of weeks, he settled himself. We'll see if he can get a TP into this fight if he wants it, but ROCCAT have backed away at the same time. sOAZ has stopped with some of his shenanigans.
There's no other way to describe that. I do want to highlight that ROCCAT right now are doing what they did in game number 2. And that's what won them the game. Even though they made a few mistakes, they stepped a little out of position. You can see now they're respecting the closing distance possible.
Fnatic want to go.
There was a flash there from Betsy, and in comes Daisy onto
Maxlore. He's jumped in.
Big Mega Gnar. They make him surf the wave, but he comes in anyways onto Wadid, and they've managed to finish him off. Maxlore was already out of that fight, and now Betsy is going nowhere, but not before he equalizes onto Caps. It is going to be a big fight in Fnatic's favor, and sOAZ still going forward. Rekkles with the flash. sOAZ gets Phaxi. It's a 4-for-1. Fnatic
utilizing the Mega Gnar, getting the engage they were looking for between Jesiz and sOAZ, getting him into the fight, disrupting 3 members, and ROCCAT couldn't really hold. So Fnatic, they're going to utilize the strength now against the Baron. They can TP in with sOAZ. Maxlore not even alive here. So unless Hjarnan can get something magical done, I don't think there's any way of stopping this.
Well, Jesiz is low, but he's playing it safe right now and just backing off before they finish. ROCCAT are not offering a response. They want to cut their losses here. So Fnatic, it'll be a slow and arduous Baron at only 22 minutes, but they will be able to secure it up without any resistance from ROCCAT. Jesiz is actually hanging around just in case.
And Hjarnan was trying to push out mid because they were trying to finish this play. ROCCAT stepped forward into the mix. sOAZ had already built up his Mega Gnar bar, jumps in off Maxlore's head and catches the 2 of them. Good curtain call out from Rekkles. You can see just how safe he is for the majority of this fight. Betsy actually gets a kill that he probably shouldn't have on Caps. That should have been Caps being fairly safe.
Jesiz too.
Yeah, it nearly does, but Fnatic with a good setup on the fight, good finish to the fight. ROCCAT didn't really get too much.
Yeah, a lot of it was sOAZ on the front. He just hopped right over. And, you know, I was saying it looked like ROCCAT were respecting that distance, but there was a big Mega Gnar, or rather a mega-sized Gnar that was coming right at them that I don't think they'd really planned for, and they got locked up under it.
Yeah, they got locked up, pushed into the wall. Nothing really else they could do in that moment. And I mean, sOAZ, he's brought out the Gnar, haven't seen it in Europe for quite some time, and it's actually looking really strong. He's looking very good up in that top lane role. He's in the bottom lane currently looking to push through. Of course, this side lane presence is one thing Gnar has in leaps and bounds when he's in mini Gnar.
ROCCAT support staff looking on, hoping for their team to find a way out of this group with a victory. It's looking harder and harder for them. Fnatic having the turret advantage, having the push advantage with the Baron empowered minions right now, but they are not overcommitting.
Phaxi's waiting for the TP, seeing if they can get it. There are a couple of wards there, and Fnatic are split here. sOAZ is not building his Mega Gnar bar yet, but Maxlore's come down to the bottom side as well, so it's not mid lane that ROCCAT are looking for a fight on. sOAZ will build that bar back up fairly quickly, though, now that it's available again. And Fnatic look to push.
Should be able to get it. Caps is still there. No, they're going to back away right now. It's gone very low, but there's no more resistance down bottom. sOAZ and Amazing are throwing boomerangs from the bush.
ROCCAT holding for a moment. Slowly but surely, though, Fnatic will push in for mid and that bot tower. sOAZ is actually recalling, but doesn't have TP.
Well, Spire Shield. Throws the house. Daisy's coming in. Maxlore turns onto Amazing right now. There's a Realm Warp coming in around the backside, though. The tower is taken out by Rekkles, and he opens the curtains. Caps comes in. They look for Maxlore, and they find him. One shot of the curtain call, and Hjarnan is going to dodge the next, but it doesn't even matter as Fnatic look to open up this base.
Fnatic looking to continue the push. They're going to get the inhibitor towers. A lot of this.
And Phaxi's dead. He's gone. Nowhere to go right now as he's locked up, and it's going to be another inhibitor without Maxlore and Phaxi. Fnatic are going to get this inhib easy.
With Gnar and the AD carries, this Ryze, everything can push towers fairly quickly here for Fnatic. You can see where sOAZ is going. ultimately with his build, but we'll see where he was going for this fight. We thought he was recalling at first. He had channeled it, but cancelled. Comes down to the bottom lane in mini Gnar. Takes a lot of health off Maxlore between Rekkles and the rest of the squad. Maxlore just kind of crumbles down. And then it's all about the tower push. Redemption comes through, heals them back up. Fnatic look to push again.
Yeah, I wonder how much would have changed if Wadid had actually hit his ultimate onto Rekkles. It kind of spaced right by him, and then as he opened up the curtain call. I don't know, maybe not much, but Fnatic have definitely widened this game in their favor. They've pushed in, they have the power to fight, and there's that frozen mallet you were talking about.
Yeah, and it makes it incredibly difficult. If it wasn't difficult enough for Phaxi to maintain any kind of presence in the lane, now you've got a mini Gnar that is able to just kind of auto-attack you down, and after 4 or 5 auto-attacks, you've lost most of your health.
Speaking of.
Fairly squishy, though, if he gets caught by the damage from Hjarnan.
Yep, he's almost got Mega Gnar available. Maxlore is stepping forward to clear out the Jhin trap, gets hit by the boomerang, and now it is going to be a game of siege for Fnatic, looking to push back out here as Betsy takes the special delivery right into sOAZ's face. Just almost gets popped.
Yeah, sOAZ doesn't punish him on that. Flash!
Oh! All right, come back, try again later.
Yeah, sOAZ
takes a swipe.
A little baited by Betsy maybe at that point.
Yeah,
I was
some
thinking,
misses.
like, if they're close enough that either the ult flash ult, did not hit.
Betsy nearly delivered himself right into Fnatic, but not quite far enough. So we are 26.5 minutes into this game. ROCCAT very much on the back foot, down about 8,000 gold, trying to hang on, trying to keep their hopes of winning a series in their group alive.
Bot lane's pushing in, though, for Fnatic, as sOAZ is back up topside. Phaxi has Betsy with him. It's going to be a change to Mega Gnar soon.
Oh, he's almost there, but he's going to Valk over just in time for sOAZ to wallop him into the ground, but it doesn't matter. They get the shutdown, but they're losing mid tower here. The wave comes out, but it is their tower that has to wave goodbye. Fnatic trade sOAZ life for an inhibitor turret in mid.
Yeah, sOAZ out on his own without flash. Wasn't expecting both Betsy. Here comes the TP from Phaxi coming through.
Throw down the captive audience. Amazing is topped up by Maxlore, but he's got Betsy at his back to tank the damage for just a second. Rekkles, Caps, they're looking to push back Phaxi. Betsy, he's going to force the flash out of Amazing. Fnatic are disengaging well.
That is probably the most taunting champion, as everything is pushing in through mid lane. Amazing distracted 4 members of ROCCAT, pulls them down as he had a flash. That's a Nexus tower that is actually down, so Fnatic trying to just chase ROCCAT, delay any kind of recall attempts.
There's the Realm Warp. Caps is going to take it into 3 right now. But the curtain call was open. Redemption came down. Caps takes out Betsy. So at the end of the day, it was well worth it. And now Phaxi's locked up by 3. Not for long will he be alive as sOAZ takes out one. Wadid and Hjarnan trying to push away, but the minions have done their job, and it is bare Nexus right now. Fnatic on top of it. They fire back. They're going to take this one. ROCCAT, it was a chance for them, but it just was not enough. Fnatic will finish this 2-1. Heading into cross-group play. GG, boys. That's it. Not the cleanest series we've seen out of Fnatic. A lot to answer still. But they pulled out the victory, and that's what matters.
Yeah, they pull out the victory, still kind of relying a lot on a somewhat risky draft. But this time they bring a winning lane, they bring the Gnar to the game. They know they can push in the Maokai. Saw that presence time and time again.
And the Ivern really paid off some big dividends. Amazing adapting here, shifting his attention to some newer picks in the meta, working out for them. And for ROCCAT, well, nobody wants to lose to a giant cupcake. But unfortunately for them, they will end this first phase of group play without a series victory.
Yeah, without a series victory on the board. A couple of game wins, but
some encouragement. I mean, this is not a team that is getting crushed every single time.
No.
They are fighting back.
They are fighting back. And honestly, for ROCCAT, I think ROCCAT Origin is going to be a fairly interesting series. If Origin, that's kind of their contenders that they'll be looking at. But for Fnatic, a couple of improvements between the games this week. The Ivern coming out, as you were alluding to, I actually think is a big pick now for them. I'd be a little worried if Fnatic get that in some of the cross-group games. But I like what Fnatic are trying to do. They're one of the teams that are bringing a little bit different style to the gameplay, but it's not always as successful.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think that you talk about teams trying to adapt to each other. Speaking of Origin, you know, kind of 5 guys coming together trying to make it happen. It hasn't worked out yet. But for Fnatic on their side, I mean, they've brought some new members together as well. Jesiz seems to be meshing well with the team. Rekkles, the old cornerstone, is there. And of course, sOAZ coming back. There is a little bit already in the way of synergy, but there are still some lingering issues. We'll see if they're able to plug those holes, but I think Fnatic can be happy that they were able to pull out the victory, even if it took them 3 games.
Yes, yeah. Fnatic fans can breathe a sigh of relief on that series. I think there's a moment after game 2 where it's a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, ROCCAT played that very clean, and Fnatic did everything they could to try and punish them. You know, I think the draft may be some question marks as well, but honestly, ROCCAT are showing a lot of heart to try and continually fight back and never give a game away, and it was honestly hard fought to the last.
ROCCAT have at least got some building blocks that you can see. ROCCAT's issues aren't unfixable. There's still areas of the game where they still are looking fairly strong. So we are only in week 3, the end of week 3. So there's still
we're not writing it out just yet. The results are still, we still got a while.
Yeah, until those playoff spots lock. But next time the group meets itself, they have to beat Giants. They have to beat Origin in a couple of weeks. Maybe the likes of a Vitality or a Splice who have looked more vulnerable over in the other group. Those are the teams you've got to beat if you want to be in that playoff race.
There's definitely some possibilities there, and it is still very, very early in the split. But, man, we have had some great action over 3 weeks. It is really encouraging to see a lot of those stories. And, you know, Fnatic definitely building themselves back up once again after last year. You know, fairly disappointing run for them. So we'll see, you know, how things change overall. Now, for more on that victory, QuickShot standing by with sOAZ.